Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fault Lines. Today, I'm going to go over some of the props that are in our November election. Since all of these props are very dense and very detailed at times, I'm going to go over one prop at a time. What better way to start off with than with Prop 1? So Prop 1, its official name is Veterans and Affordable Housing Bonds. Okay. It authorizes $11.25 billion in state bonds for affordable housing programs and veterans housing assistance. $10 billion of that housing portion includes $7.2 billion to affordable multifamily rental housing units, building, buying, or rehabilitating apartments. $450 million of that $10 billion bond is for farm worker housing. $350 million is for affordable student housing at UC and CSU campuses, and $200 million for tribal housing programs. Okay. And then $200 million more for local housing pilot projects and additional funding for home ownership assistance programs. Sounds great. Sounds awesome. So the pros for this prop is that California has a severe shortage of affordability housing. Okay. So bond funding can help preserve homes for low-income families, seniors, veterans, farm workers, and students. It expands programs that have previously received state bonding funds. I think that has more to do with the building permits rather than the shortage, but what do I know? Allegedly. For the cons, we're already in a really big state debt, so this increases our state debt and long-term taxpayer obligations, so yikes. Bond-funded housing doesn't necessarily address the shortage of the market of housing, and critics, and I'm one of those critics, question whether government programs can deliver housing efficiently and control the costs. So I'm saying no to all of those things because we've seen what it does in the past, and it's not looking good, California. All right, the supporters for this, no surprise here, our very own Governor Gavin Newsom. The California legislature is in support of this. Of course, affordable housing organizations are in support of this to get more money. Labor unions and construction trades, veterans organizations, local governments, and housing advocates. Now, the biggest critics for this is Republican state legislators, mostly because they don't want to be fiscally irresponsible. Why would you say they've been fiscally irresponsible? I'll get to that later. Okay, so, and then fiscal conservatives and taxpayer advocates are obviously no for this prop. And some veteran advocates who oppose the measure's framing, because as you can see by the breakdown of this measure, it's not necessarily veterans and affordable housing bonds. It's more affordable housing bonds, and then veterans are kind of not that much of the funding. Okay. So I'm going to go back in time real quick. Going back in time to other bonds of the past that California has passed. And it's not necessarily been for the best because I don't know if you know this or you've heard, but our very own governor might be under federal investigation soon. Allegedly. And where did the charity funds go for those who are victims of Palisades fires? Allegedly. So as far as responsibility of money is concerned, do you really want to entrust more money to California? I'm not sure you do. Okay, so here are some voter approved from years ago they're still being repaid today. Our favorite Proposition 1A, which was passed in 2008, also known as the high-speed rail, ladies and gentlemen. So California borrowed $9.95 billion to help California's high-speed rail system. The state is still making principal and interest payments on this bond. And where's our high-speed rail system? All right, next up, Proposition 1B, which was passed in 2006, and this is under transportation. Can I give you some insight? These propositions were passed in 06, 08. We're in 2026 right now. This is insane. Okay, so for Proposition 1B, they borrowed about $19.9 billion for highways, local roads, bridges, ports, and public transit. Many of these bonds are still remained outstanding, and they continue to be repaid. Proposition 51, passed in 2016 for K-12 school facilities, authorized $9 billion for building and repairing public schools. California is still paying back those bonds over several decades. Proposition 1, 2014, the water bond, borrowed $7.5 billion for water storage, drought preparedness, and ecosystem restoration. Repayment is still going on. California has about $72.1 billion worth of outstanding general obligation bond debt, meaning taxpayers are still repaying many voter-approved bonds today. They repay that loan with interest over the next 20 to 30 years. Wow. So all I have to say is, California, have you seen the fruits of this labor from these bonds that have gone through? Where has the money gone? And can we really afford to pass another bond that has such high altruistic promises, but yet falls short to deliver? Just look at the past bonds we've passed. All right, this has been Vanessa with Fault Lines California. I'll see you at the next episode. Peace.